Well, hello everyone, and welcome to Wednesday Wisdom. I'm Julie O'Brien, CMO at DAS, and with me here today is Rotem Leibowich, who's the Principal Product Manager at DAS. Hey, Rotem.
Hey, how's it going?
It's great. Good to have you here. So today's topic is around slicing and dicing data from different security scanners, cloud security scanners, and how to make sense of all the noise that's coming at you as a security professional. Before we dive in, Rotem, I thought it'd be nice for you to share a little bit about yourself, your background, and what it is that you do at DAS.
Yeah, absolutely. So I've actually joined DAS roughly 5 months ago, and what I do here is together with the other product managers on the team, we do the obvious stuff that product managers do on such an organization. So we do the roadmap, we're building features, we're constantly in conversations and advising with our customers, with our design partners. And building what we say is the best cloud remediation platform out there. Prior to here, I was almost 7 years at SentinelOne, 5 of them as a product manager. And I want to say that I had the opportunity to see how things are evolving in the security space from an endpoint to the cloud during those years. So this is a really exciting opportunity that I had in DAS to go and pursue this challenge of cloud security and remediation.
Awesome. Well, it's great to have you here. And I do have I want to keep it very interactive with you. So I've got my questions ready. But before we jump into questions, why don't we lay the foundation for today's discussion with a few slides, and then we'll start with some of the questions that I've got waiting for you.
Yeah, sounds good. So I want to share a little bit to the audience what we do at DAS and what do we mean when we say cloud remediation, what we're doing over here. So as you know, the reality today is that we have so many tools from code to cloud that are spinning up and sending us detections to the security teams all over the place, whether are those code scanners or CSPMs or stuff that's related to the pipeline security tools, the DevSecOps tools. All of those are creating alert fatigue for the security team to handle, and it's really hard for them to do prioritization based on those multiple platforms and multiple places to fight those alerts. The remediation of that is not even in the conversation, right? It's all about detection, and we only see detection. So what do we do when we want to go to the remediation phase? What do we do when we want to solve all of those problems that are spinning up and try to prioritize them and try to understand what is the risk? So what we're trying to do at DAS and what we're actually solving for our customers is taking all of these alerts and all of these detection tools and all of those cloud environments and code repository and the Artifactories and the pipeline tools, and we generate a really good comprehensive overview of how to remediate them and bridge the gap basically between developers and security. Just to lay out the picture of what is the DAS platform integrate with. So obviously, as I mentioned, we integrate with all of the security tools that related to code scanners, right? We also integrate with all of the code repositories out there with the CI/CD pipeline tools, infrastructure as code tools, the Terraforms, the ARM. We also read all the information from container registries and all of the major cloud providers. That gives us the capability to do tracebacks from code to cloud and from cloud to code to understand how to solve the problem that can generate from a code issue and slowly propagating into the cloud, into production. So by integrating with all of these tools, we can paint a full picture of what to remediate and when with what priority. But what we also integrate with is identity providers to give our customers full role-based access control, and of course to ticketing and notification platform like ServiceNow, Jira, and Slack. And I want to stress the fact a little bit. What does it mean when we say we address the issues from code to cloud? So we have three main themes that we're focusing on. The first one is discovery. So by connecting to all of these tools and connecting the dots, we understand the deployment of our customers and our customers' environment. From the code to the cloud, and like I said, and vice versa. So we're unifying all the risks from those tools and identify the architecture gaps that they have on their environments. This is a very important phase. We can show our customers in our platforms all of the phases from code to cloud and vice versa, and show them where they need to put more emphasis on. The second theme is reduce. So they have a lot of noise. Those tools generate tens of thousands of alerts at times and hundreds of thousands and some other cases. So it's really important to clean up all of this extra noise. So we know how to deduplicate and prioritize alerts by CVEs, misconfigurations, by unique root cause that we do at DAS, and we automatically find the owners of the problem. So not only pointing to the problem and making sure that they don't see tons of alerts, they don't have alert fatigue. So we deduplicate, we managed to risk and prioritize those alerts, and we also find the owners. And the last phase is basically fix. So with all of the contextual information and the concise, exact findings that we show in our remediation process, this gives us the capability to come to those teams and say, hey, this is the information, we know who the owner is, we know how to fix it, so this is what the remediation steps that you need to take. And that reduced dramatically the time that it takes to identify, to discover, to reduce, and to fix. So this is a really important three themes that we're focusing on. We also have our pipeline graph, which is our proprietary technology. So we can map and show by the graph all the pieces of information and create a full map from code to cloud of the customer environment and integrations.
Awesome. Thank you so much for that overview, Rotem. And by the way, I forgot to compliment you on your sweatshirt. I really like it.
Thank you.
So for everyone in the virtual audience, I just wanted to make sure, feel free to fire off questions too. You can do so in the chat. But why don't we move on to a few questions that I have for you? Does that sound good?
Sounds great.
All right, cool. So DAS is a centralized, you could even say unified cloud security remediation platform. So talk me through, could you explain how it helps security teams be more effective dealing with critical issues?
So this is a great question. So when we're looking at all the tools that the cloud security teams are now facing today, what do we really want to do is to consolidate the data coming in from those tools. And of course, we're using our technology that we develop. We know how to parse all that massive information that we're getting from those tools. And by doing that, we're given a comprehensive view and comprehensive answer to our users. What is the problem? How do we want to solve it? And by doing that, we're reducing the time that's spent from switching between multiple platforms and basically streamlining the workflow that saves time for those resources. We know that security teams often fight with shortage of workforce. We know that the people to hire takes time. It takes a lot of money to invest, to educate. So by doing this consolidation, we're enabling them to focus and address critical issues much more effectively and much faster than they're doing today. And by doing that, we're saving them a lot of time by doing those remediation phases. We have I want to say that we have a really good example from one of our customers, our existing customers, where they actually had a concrete plan for hiring for their cloud security team. And after implementing DAS and getting educated on the system, which basically took less than a month, what they came back to us and said was, listen, we were planning to hire at least 3 more security folks to the team, but you know what? Maybe we can now focus on giving those recs into someplace else. We don't need them necessarily at the moment at the cloud security team, because you guys really help us to reduce the mean time to remediation, and by doing that, it really saves us time.
That's really powerful. It's really powerful. And you're right. There was just an article, I think it was in today's paper or yesterday in the Wall Street Journal in the cybersecurity section, talking about that very issue of just, never enough talent. And there's so much that's being thrown at security teams. And now with, more and more detection tools, like what do you do with all the noise and all the data that's coming at you? So I'm curious then, with all of that information that's being thrown at the security team, there are, when you think about remediation, it's not just security practitioners that are responsible for remediation. It's also other members of the organization, like developers, for example. So I'm curious, and I think I know the answer, but can multiple teams and members log in and use DAS? And if so, I have to imagine this helps improve communication, collaboration, and break down silos between teams.
Definitely. So this is a very large topic in the industry. Bridging the gap between security to developers. Developers, most of the time, what they want to do, they want to develop. Security teams, what they want to do, they want to solve all the security issues. Sometimes, many times actually, those interests collide. And it's really a problem that we've been trying to solve for years. So what we did in DAS is basically we created a really elaborated and simplified actually way for different team members in the organization to log in. And because we broke that into silos, we can make sure that we can grant access to a development team to the platform. And by doing that, we consolidate only things that related to their application, for example. So if they have a specific code repository, if they have a specific project in the cloud, we can actually make sure that we take those resources, create our business units, and assign them into our business unit and assign users to them. So those users can actually log in into DAS and see only the information that the security team, the CISO, or somebody from the compliance team had approved. And we also build it in a way that we have a really sophisticated parenting and child mechanism. So the CISO in this example can have access and see all the information in DAS from the different tools, from the different code repositories, from the different cloud providers, all in the same place. But at the same time, he can delegate access to the application security team, to the DevSecOps team, to the cloud security teams, only to the resources they are handling. So there is a complete segregation, and there is a complete different views that they can log into DAS and actually use our platform, even if they are not security practitioners or professionals, because we found it at multiple times that the security team onboard the developers just to make sure that they see what is the noise that is coming from the security code scanning tools. So we have a lot of cases in real life where we have both teams logging into the system and kind of have a fruitful discussion about the mutual goals that they wanted to have.
Yeah, it seems like a much more coordinated way to respond to critical issues, much more effectively, like faster response times, more efficient threat management. It's really important. Okay,
Correct.
So I think you mentioned this in the handful of slides that you should walk through at the start of the presentation, but DAS integrates with existing applications that you already have in your infrastructure, cloud security tools, infrastructure tools, IAC. Can you explain how this works, and just, from your experience working with customers, how much time and effort it actually takes to integrate DAS into an existing environment?
Yeah, by the end of the day, this is the first question that we always get, right? How can I connect it? How much time it will take me? What do I need to do? So this is it's very simple, to be honest. DAS is designed to integrate with wide range of security tools and infrastructure tools. So we're actually streaming the data, and we use only read APIs from every single integration that we have. We integrate with almost all of the common tools, and we're pretty much vendor agnostic. So once we have those read APIs, our users can just go and connect by themselves each type of the integration, and it would just streamline into the platform. So this is one of the easiest phases that we put the emphasis on DAS, because we know that sometimes on some platforms it might take a tedious workflow to connect all those tools to make sure that all the data is streamlined into our platform. So this is something that we really put an emphasis on in terms of onboarding our customers into the platform.
Is there an example of some of the most common tools that you see being integrated?
Oh yeah, so obviously the largest integration that we always have are the major cloud providers, right? So if it's AWS and all the sub modules that AWS include, if it's Azure or GCP, we're also connecting to the major code repositories on-prem or cloud, by the way, the GitHub, the GitLab, the Bitbuckets, straight to the security tools that we're talking about, the code scanners, the SonarQube, the Snyk, and all the way to the pipeline tools like Azure DevOps, if it's Jenkins, the open source tools, all the way to the cloud for the Wiz and the Orcas and the Prismas and the cloud scanners.
So really vendor agnostic and collecting data from across, the complete code to cloud pipeline and overlaying security context on top.
Exactly. Yeah, because we have a parsing level, parsing layer that we're taking all this information, and in this case, it doesn't have to be even a security related information, because we are integrating with all these tools. We also gather a lot of data. So this is something else that we're actually doing a lot of research on, because we have so much data from those integration. We can do recommendation and root cause analysis on a lot of information, and lately we're starting to see a lot of insights that we're getting from those tools and from this data that are not necessarily security findings, but rather data findings that we are incorporating into our models.
Well, that's exactly where I was going to go next with you. Is there a way to start helping identify trends and patterns in security posture so you can take a more proactive rather than reactive approach to remediation?
Yes, definitely. I think also the industry is looking for the easiest remediation step that you can have, right? Nobody wants to do manual work and analysis. Everybody in the market today wants a tool that do data analysis on the best it can deliver, and give the information right here, right now, so we can react upon that. So we actually do a really comprehensive analysis, and our capabilities over there are enabling the security teams to identify trends and patterns in the security posture. So we're also internally, and then we share this with our customers, we're revealing a lot of areas of potential weaknesses and vulnerability on the environment. So for example, after we're connecting all the dots by using our integrations, we can share with our customers that they have missing repositories from a scanner. So they thought, for example, and this is also another real life example from one of our customers, they were absolutely sure that their code repositories are being actively scanned by those scanner tools, and they have a 100% coverage of those code repositories. And what we found after we onboarded them into DAS, we told them, hey, listen, we know it's what you thought, but it's actually way, way lower. It's about 55. So they were shocked, and obviously it was just one of the findings that we can understand and seeing, and it's a pattern. It's a basic pattern that we see all over the place. especially in large enterprises where they have mergers and acquisition, they sometimes manually cannot process and cannot cover this entire landscape of what they have in the organization.
Yeah. Yeah, so and also along the lines of proactive, I know I've heard some customers talk about identifying shadow pipelines and also exploitable secrets as well.
Yeah, so we develop our own secret scanner that we actually can point and test whether this secret are live and can be maliciously been hijacked or used. So definitely, secret scanner is one of the things that we do, and we do it really good. Shadow pipelines is another topic. Exactly like I mentioned about the missing coverage for the code scanners, shadow pipelines is something that we are continuously discovering on our customers' enterprise environment. As mentioned before, sometimes though the environments are huge and the cloud journey for some customers can take time, but some of those journeys can actually accelerate between 1% to 50% to 70 and 80 by matter of month or a couple of years, and they're starting to lose track of what they're actually having, what they're actually paying on, and what they have on their environment. So also in terms of these economic times today, we sometimes discover shadow pipelines that are actually costing money, and our customers are not even aware about them. So this is another use case that we're actually leveraging.
So being able to look across, again, the entire environment and discover some gaps or discover some, some issues that you didn't know were there, that unified view is really critical. So,
Exactly.
Okay, Alex, are you out there? Should we take any questions from our audience?
Yes. We have one question for you, Rotem, that came up in the chat that I think you could answer for us. The question is, can you customize DAS for specific security needs or preferences, like dashboards or any viewpoints or filters?
So yes, definitely. We offer customization and a lot of flexibility by allowing all the security professionals, all of the stakeholders that are logging into DAS basically to create their own custom views, their own custom filters and dashboards to tailor their specific needs. So in some cases, as I mentioned before, some of the teams may be only interested in understanding why is a specific CSPM alert is alerting and where is the code that needs to fix it and where it's coming from. What is the problematic Docker image? So they can actually really easily go to the platform, create filters and see those. Another use case, just filter alerts that related to a specific AWS account. This is also something that our customers can actually go and filter by severity, by the risk factor, by the detection tool. We give a really extensive tool sets of filtering and a lot of flexibility for our users to use DAS and find the information they want based on those searches.
Great, thank you. Those are all the questions.
Okay. Awesome. All right. Well, that is what we have for you today. Thank you so much, Rotem, and thanks everyone for joining us. We'll see you next time on another Wednesday Wisdom. Thank you.
Thank you.